Hi guys, hello. How are you? Good to see you all. Okay, so well, welcome first of all. I hope you've had a great week despite the weather. Can you hear me fine? Yeah?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so I was thinking for today's Friday talk for this session to have Q&A, questions and answers, and they can go, obviously, they should go both ways. For me, it will be amazing because I will understand, it's kind of a concept check-in, right? So I will understand what needs explaining better, and you hopefully also will clarify some of the issues that need clarifying, right? So I will first suggest some questions. If you have more, feel free to ask, or if you want to start, that would be great, amazing. So, well, actually, first of all, do you guys have any questions? We've been talking about different growth models lately and different options for you. So, any questions to start with from you? No? All clear? Georgina, it seems that you're kind of having,
I have
yeah.
another question, but it's not about growth. It's about um, um, the learning, the teaching approach. When you say that we should have students reading, yes, I try to avoid that a little bit, but sometimes there's a lot of activities with reading. And I try to work that in a different way, not have them reading all the time. But I would really like to know from a language learning approach why you advise not to happen. What's the
Not,
reason?
what's the reason for students not to read?
Well, what's the reason why reading is not the a base of learning a language or learning any language, even our L1? Why is that so resourceful?
Yeah, reading is one of the best learning approaches. Reading is probably in my list, in my personal list, it would be number one, along with watching series. Yeah, so I learn or listening to songs, but I would never think as a teacher of doing that with my students in class. So I would never put my favorite series with my students, and I would well, songs probably because they are shorter. Reading is something that we definitely have to stimulate in our students outside the classroom, outside, not with us, outside, because reading is that thing that provides input. And I remember an old teacher, maybe those of you who are linguists will remember, Krashen, don't remember his first name, but he is very, very, a very big supporter of reading skills outside the classroom, right? So what you have to do is be stimulating active usage. So those things that students can't do alone. Yeah, anyone can take a book and read, good or bad. And here it's arguable whether they will be reading fine or not. You have to assume that they will not. But in class, what you're working with them will impact their reading skills a big deal afterwards. So I think that you're very necessary for all these active, and I use active again and again. You know, those who have done the CELTA course, you guys were drilled this differentiation between active skills and passive skills, right? So reading is very important outside the classroom. Absolutely important outside the classroom. It's where we develop vocabulary, it's where we develop awareness, cultural benefits, etc. Outside, I insist very much on that. And why? Because of the pace of the class. You have to have the student interacting, pushing them, encouraging them to speak, correcting a lot. But it has to be a very dynamic way. Otherwise, the pace of the class will dramatically drop. So this is why. And the same happens with reading. Do they need to read? Probably they will need to read. Where or in what moment is the best moment for them to read? When they're in a reflective mode. And that is not the class. That is outside the class, right? So this is it. And do the trial. I mean, where you will have more fun in a class where you will have to read, or you are challenged to say something and learning actively and repeating. Does that satisfy you?
Yeah. Yes and no, like always. No, of course. And I've been using the reading materials very, very differently. For example, I tell them I read, and you look at the words to get the pronunciation, or
Okay.
I read chunks and they repeat.
Oh,
So they can repeat the
yeah.
sounds and everything. But there's a lot of activities there's with reading, which is fine, and some of them have a fair, like, small amount of reading that we can lead to a lot of discussion. But there's some activities that I'm just like, no way, I'm not using this. It's just, slide and slide and slide and chunk and chunk and chunk, and I just skip those.
It's horrible. I know those. I know. Only that when you need the activity, you have no time to say, hey, redo it from the top to the bottom, and you accept it and you say, all right, fair enough. But I can be even more blunt. Reading is for lazy teachers. Contradict me on that. For me, no? Okay. You can. For me,
I 100% agree.
Making a student read is you're not ready. Okay, fine, I'll read. Paz, you wanted to say something.
Well, I'm not going to say whether it's for lazy teachers or whatever. I try that. I try having the students to read, and they think they hate that. That's the first. When students hate that, and it's because it's very difficult. I mean, it's double work. You have to decode and code at the same time. So it's just like probably the worst of the exercises for half an hour. What I do, I read. For them, they're more comfortable because they can just like concentrate on decoding what is there. And at the same time, they're actually learning pronunciation, right? Then I do the questions, understanding questions. Then second, they can read to answer my question.
And then it makes
they're reading, they're reading, and that is lazy for them because when I'm asked, can you tell me that on your own words? I'm not telling them to read. Okay, so if they're reading, it's because they want to read. So that's what I do. I don't know if that helps you, at all, Georgina.
I think it's a great
insight.
Yep. Yeah, I also think it's a great insight because there has been a process of reflection, and you realized what works and what doesn't. So fantastic. Okay, so I think that maybe now it's fair for me to ask, what's the most difficult part of being a teacher? I know it's a little bit abstract, but let's try to answer this one. And it can be in the classroom, outside, here, well, whatever you find difficult. Let's see if we can understand your difficulties and help you overcome them. There must be something that is super difficult. What is it? Okay, so let me ask, what is the Mari Carmen? Okay, fine.
Hi. Well, maybe one of the most difficult parts, I would say, is to actually make sure that you can accomplish the 3 activities, the structure, vocab, and topic. Sometimes I find it difficult because of the timing. So I would say that's probably the most difficult time, to make sure that I finish up the 3 activities.
Okay.
You were maybe asking in general, as an English teacher, or using the system? Well, using the system is what I can say.
Okay, no, it's fine. Timing is very important, and it's really difficult to realize that time actually, when you are, time feels different when you are on one side or the other. And you realize that when you actually get the chance to observe other teachers. So I'll give an example. I rarely, when we have these Friday talks, afterwards I process them, I put them on YouTube, and sometimes I watch them, and it feels extremely slow to me. My own guidance, it feels extremely slow to me. And believe it or not, this happens in the classroom. So when you're performing your instructions and when you're trying to teach, it feels one way, and for the student, it's slower. It is always slower. You have to bear that in mind. So timing is something that, even though you think that the student needs more time, they actually probably need more practice and through a variety of activities, more than more time with one activity. This is what I can say. So those who eventually master timing, they deliver great classes. They deliver engaging, amazing, fun classes, and the students are actually absorbing, and you secure the continuity, and we have retention, etc. You know, so timing is crucial in classes, as in everything. Everything has to have has their proper timing, but in class you have to work consciously on that. And when you think it's slow, it's not. All right. And here I have to tell you something, another thing. I'm not talking about teacher talking time. Sometimes when you are not so experienced, you rush the explanation, you tend to talk a lot, you tend to talk too much. But this is not what I mean. I mean the time that it takes you to perform one activity with the student. It has to be very well paced, and usually go for a little bit faster pace than what you usually do. Okay, so this is a difficulty in the classroom, but outside in general, as in your profession as teacher, what is the most difficult thing? Gergo, is there anything that you consider very difficult? If you can hear us.
Hello, hello, hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. Well, I was meant to say it before as well. So I think the most difficult is getting new students.
Okay, getting new students. All right, we'll talk about it. Kaylee, what's the most difficult? What's the most difficult thing?
I think for me, like, I really enjoy kids. I love relating to kids one-on-one and getting down on their level. But that's in a social context and just fooling around and telling them random stories. But when it comes to teaching, I find like I'm really out of my depth trying to teach children. And I think primarily it's because of the levels of motivation. So generally, adults are more intrinsically motivated, and children are usually more extrinsically motivated, especially if they're a bit younger. And so they might be interested in the class. I don't know. They're not paying for the class, so like they don't necessarily always have to make an effort. And then also, if a child is shy, they don't always know how to express themselves if they're shy. So I really struggle, like drawing a child out and getting him to speak. And I think also they're a little bit more scared of making mistakes than maybe adults. Adults know the value of making mistakes is learning. Yes, but I mean, I'm still sort of like a newbie to teaching. So I don't know. I find it so much easier to speak with adults. Yeah. Well, to teach adults. But then if I'm at a party, I'll find the kids and I'll hang out with them. So it's weird.
You know, after so many years seeing my own daughter grow and talking to kids, I realized that kids are young adults. They're just young adults. They have exactly the same capacity. And if you start thinking of them as, this is my opinion, maybe there are people that think differently. If you stop thinking of them as kids, but if you think about them as adults, only that younger, with a little bit more limited resources to express but exactly the same reflection process, you will come to realize that it's easier. Yeah. So don't treat them as kids. Treat them as young adults that just as adults need to be engaged, and sometimes they won't know they will be shy, and sometimes they won't know the answer, and this is it. I don't know, but we can devote a whole session on kids, and maybe next time let's talk about it, because there are many people that here that have experience with kids. But
I think the key word is engaging. So I find adults are more engaging than children in general, but also I haven't, I think previously when I taught before Oxinity, I struggled with the kids. So I think it also depends on the culture, and yeah, adults are just more engaging. So I'm like, okay, give me the adults.
Yeah. Well,
it's more intimidating.
But I don't think this is the most difficult thing. You know, I think that probably Gergo's point is the most difficult thing. So let's hear Jordan, and then we'll go back to Gergo's point. Over to you, Jordan.
Hello, everyone. Hi.
Yeah. Hi.
So I think the hardest is recovering from a difficult activity. Yeah, I think that's definitely been the most challenging for me. And Kaylee, just very quickly for the kids.
Yeah.
I think it's really good to make them always engage. You've got to sort of rush them. Don't give them any time to get distracted. Ask them to do things very quickly. And count down 3, 2, 1. They activate when you do this. When you do 3, 2, 1, they're listening. They want to know. Okay. Yeah, I think recovering from a difficult activity is something that I find difficult. Yeah. Or maybe if the topic of the activity, the person has no interest and they're looking at you like, yeah, it's past the English. They don't want to know. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. All right. That's fine. Very helpful. Let me though answer Gergo. I think it's about time. And believe it or not, many people here will have the capacity, not only me. So I encourage them to also help him and answer. The most difficult thing is to get students, and this is true. So we can work a big deal on our approach of getting students, and I'll give you some pointers, hopefully today, and turn it into something easy, because I think that there is one thing that we're doing wrong. Okay, I'm going to call it that way. So what are we doing wrong, or what you could be doing wrong, not you, Gergo, in general, to be so hard? And why is it not so hard, for instance, for a language consultancy, one of those firms that need teachers, that go to companies and tell them, I offer English, and you know, I have this fantastic capacity of providing English for any sort of level and specific purpose, etc. So the question is, why is it easy for them and it's not easy for you? Why is it? So apparently, if we go to companies, a company has the same capacity or in the same needs. Sorry, not the same capacity, the same needs. And we are offering to them English, right? We're offering what we know, what we can do. So why would they prefer an agency? Eventually, one of those consultant agencies, and many of you I know are working for them, and it's fine. But what you have to realize is that they have the best business ever. The best business ever is, I have nothing and I sell it, and then I pay half of what I get from it to the person that is going to do the job. Okay, why am I saying this? Because what they have is a very strong commercial machine, and they have the capacity of talking to companies. Fine. So what they tell them is something that they don't have yet. Once they close the deal is when they go to the marketplaces to get you. No? Yeah, this is it. So not until they have the deal, they go to the marketplace. So they don't have teachers waiting for them to get clients. No, they get the client, they don't have anything, they need teachers urgently, and they offer to you half of whatever they have closed. This is it. Okay, and you do the job and you're happy with what they give you, and they get the margin. So the question is, why this person is not you? And the answer is, or the question is, why is that person not you, having what you have at hand, which is the same capacity of offering the same? Why does it not happen? Anyone? Why is it, according to you?
Because it will cost them 14 euros minimum. It's all about money, and they're going to go for people who are going to cost 8. People who have traveled abroad for 3 months and are ready to teach English, for example, or people who have a B1. That's the way I see it. It's a business. So
yeah. Gergo, what do you think?
Yeah, what I thought actually this week is that I need to change my mindset, because I'm still thinking about hours taught, not about clients I have. It's a kind of mindset which does not allow me to grow, because exactly. I only have so many hours a week which I can make myself available of. But if I'm not thinking about this, I'm thinking about how many students I have, how many clients I have. That's a completely different story. It's a really difficult step to make, and it just crossed my mind like 2 days ago. I was reading an article about something completely different, but it's really, really important, because that's what we are for.
Absolutely.
Here. We're here for.
Yeah. And what do you have to change? One tiny thing, and you'll get it. What is it that you have to change, all of you?
Yeah, my mindset, about my approach, or.
Yeah, your approach. When you imagine talking to a client, the one thing that you don't have to offer, that's you. It is a huge mistake. I mean, you have to remember something, that whenever talking to a company, you are a problem. Sorry. And you may disagree and think, no, but I'm a great teacher. Fine. They don't need great teachers. The language consultancy, salesperson, they are not even experts in teaching. You are. They go and they tell you, well, I have the best teachers ever in the world, and that's you. While when you think of getting a company, you think of you only, and that is very limiting. Very limiting. And sorry, guys, I know that it goes against your ego, but you have to understand it so that you broaden your possibilities. So they don't want you. If they wanted you, they would tell you, yes, and also we want you. So can you also be the teacher? And then you can say, I'm so busy, my agenda, whatever. But you can choose to be that teacher or not. But if you go as you, the teacher, you're teaching you're very, very limited. You have to offer to them every single thing that you cannot be. For instance, you cannot be the first thing. You cannot have groups at the same time. While when you go with the resource and with the service, you can offer that to them. So your mindset is one of the experts. You know what you have at your disposal. Why don't you use it? Why would you limit yourself to just you? So even if, for instance, the best English teacher, when asked to teach Spanish, then they have to say, well, I can't do that. Someone else should. So if we apply the same principle, it's you increase your availability, or the availability that you offer. You increase the you increase the offer, English and Spanish, and you are able to offer from 7 a.m. classes from 7 a.m. to 10 at night, right? And you don't have to make yourself available. So all these things, or they want something very specific, say legal English, and you are not. a legal expert, and so on. The list is very, very, very long. So anything that you are not, think that they will demand it. And you have to ask yourself this question: am I everything that they want? And the answer will always be no. It's just impossible. So when you realize that, then you will start thinking, okay, so what do they want? They want everything that I am not. Maybe they want me as well, but they want everything that I cannot be. Never. So I'm going to provide them to you when I forget about who I am as a teacher, and I remember the service that I can bring to them and the value that I can bring to them. And then the how, and why is it so difficult to get students, Gergo, these days? And let's face it, the again, markets, models, the model that you use is important, and the market has shifted. And you know, I don't know if in English you can you use that expression of the frog effect. You know, the frog when thrown into boiling water will immediately die, but if we heat the water little by little, they don't realize. So what happened to us up to a certain extent is that we were using, and I take responsibility because I was advising, we were using some resources such as marketplaces that used to work before the pandemics. We would get great students at great rates then, but these past 2 years changed it all, and the market is different now. So we in a marketplace is yet another trap for us. Now, because you are trapped in the price competition, and there is no way out of it. So you can only lower your price. In this competition, you're losing. So they block some profiles. At first I was shocked. Now I'm thinking, do we need them? I don't think it's such a big deal, to be honest. And you may say, yeah, but you're building also a marketplace yourself. So why is that? Is it not the same? And here is when I'd like to know what you think and how you feel about it, because what do you think? What is different about it? Is there anything different about the marketplace that we're building and the ones that you are used to? What do you think? Why do we have a marketplace? For instance, I'm going to ask James here. Jim, if you can, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, obviously marketplaces, I mean, I've been teaching for about 10 years, and marketplaces, like you said, before the pandemic, they were great. And they were a great source for private teachers. But I think that the marketplaces are now being flooded a little bit by obviously the sort of wannabe teachers, the ones who've lost their jobs and thought, oh, I can teach English. They've chatted to somebody and everything like that, and so they go on, they advertise their sort of services for like €5 an hour, €6 an hour. Because it's not their main income. They're not teachers. They are people who maybe have been working full time, and now they have been reduced down to part time. So they're just doing it as an added bonus to get a bit of extra income. Because they live, and one of their Spanish friends said, oh, do you know anybody who teaches English? Oh, I can teach English. I can teach your child English and things like that. So they don't mind charging €5 an hour. But when you're a teacher like we are, and it's your job, it's your profession, it's your passion, you need, and it's the only job that you do, you need to be getting like €13-14 an hour to be able to survive, because you have to pay your social security, you have to pay for your food, your rent, whatever it is. You need to be earning these things. And I think that and also as well, marketplaces are attracting investment from big businesses, like what's happened with two class. It's attracted like the big the big sort of investment companies out there that want to sort of get in on the act to make as much money as they can from the teachers. So they make it more difficult for teachers to actually advertise it. Now you have to invest a lot of money in these marketplaces to get to the top. And I mean, there was one I found the other day, and I was looking at it, and it's got something like they're saying that they've got 37,000 teachers on there.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking, like, how is anybody going to get noticed on a site that's got 37,000 teachers? It's crazy. And I think we need to look at other ways to sort of attract the students and things like that. And obviously, yeah, it's just something that obviously I spoke to you about it, and this thing I'm working on solely for the Oxensi partners. And I think that's what we need to do. We need to have something that has less teachers on there, teachers who can just profile their skills without the sort of the price on there. I mean, and everything like that, so that people are looking for teachers and they contact the teacher. They're then looking at the teacher and they're thinking, because there's no price on there. It doesn't say we charge 14 euros an hour, 16 euros an hour, 20 euros an hour. It's solely the profile of the teacher, where they can read what the teacher can offer, where they work, what sort of lessons they do, and then the potential student can then pick that teacher, contact the teacher. Then the teacher can use their own skills to bring that student in and everything like that. And it may be the wrong hours for that teacher, but then they're in the Oxensi system, and we can find them a teacher who will be able to give them the hours that they want.
It. So
taking away that price idea, and it's more about selling you. You are a teacher. You can teach them. Contact me, and we'll talk about it. And once you start a dialogue with somebody without the price in the way, then you start to, that teacher's already got a connection with you. And yeah, they may not take you up straight away, but they'll remember. Then they'll look around and they think, oh, I can't find any teacher. Oh, there was Kaylee, or there was Georgina on that site I contacted, and they'll come back to you. Maybe not straight away. Maybe in 3 months' time, 6 months' time. It will be in their mind that you're an English teacher who can give them what they want, and they'll come back to you. So I think that's the way to go. Is we need to be more targeted on the teacher and not so much the price.
This is true, and it's very altruistic. And I think that the idea is exactly what we were thinking. So there has to be always for two people to accept a deal, say the student and the teacher, there has to be a win-win. If the leverage is on one side, then the other side will be unhappy. So with this idea in mind, any other marketplace, any other alternative is not going to give you that. Why? Because they need the margin and they make money that way. With the 30-something thousand teachers competing on price. This is it. This is a brilliant model for them, for the marketplace itself. Now, what our conception and our philosophy for creating our marketplace was very simple. Very simple. I'll try to summarize it in one phrase. The student finds what they need, and I find, or the teacher finds or gets what they need. Meaning, you are offering to the student what they need, and you're getting what you need. So students get what they need, and the teacher gets what they need as well. Both of them, and only through a variety of proposals to them, we can achieve that. And yes, in that case, then they can choose the best profile for them without you losing the capacity to grow, because eventually the margin stays with you, right? So this is the only marketplace where you sell what the student needs and you get what you need. So this is the big difference, and there is no small print here. For the more skeptical teachers, let me repeat, because sometimes it may not be clear. Oxinity takes 8.27% plus VAT from the transactions. 8.27 plus VAT for the transactions. Yeah, 8.27 is what we get. And there is no small print. Everything else stays with you. So this is the marketplace where everything belongs to you when using it. Everything. And this is the model. There are different models, obviously, but the models that we give you are always aiming that with have been designed with this aim in mind. If there are going to be 2 people that benefit, or 3, there is always the third party, or the first party, call it whatever, is the student. They have to be highly satisfied, but then the other 2 parties that have to be really happy with the deal is the teacher that teaches the class and the teacher that gets the student. So in this regard, let me tell you something, that because of that 8.27% plus VAT, which is 10, because of that, I know for a fact that you may think, okay, so is it worth sharing? And those of you who probably reach the conclusion that, well, why don't I do get from Oxinity what they can give me, and then I do my own, deals, and yeah, I'm happy with that. So this could be tagged as a smart move. Yeah, a smart move is the one, or a smart teacher is the teacher that gets from Oxinity what they everything that they can, and then gets or cuts more deals with other people, and nothing is shared and everything is for them. So this is the smart teacher. But I'll tell you guys that there is a smarter teacher, and the smarter teacher, once they realize that being smarter is also being richer, cuts different deals. So the smarter teacher realizes that the business model actually supports those people that little by little give up teaching to just getting the students, because eventually the money that they make from not teaching is much better and much higher than the one they can get by just putting their hours at disposal. So yeah, you can be smart and get what we have and what other people offer to you, or you can be smarter and actually exploit this model to the maximum. So I don't know. I would love to think that you're getting it and you're using it, because eventually this model is for you. And the best thing, by doing that, you are helping others to start. So the best thing is that, yes, there is this selfish element of I'm going to save the best for me, but the best thing is that also you're helping new teachers start. And to me, this is that altruistic part that compensates it all, So, I mean, and then going back to Gergo's the first point, which is, and how do I do that? Yeah, so we change the approach. That's clear. Change our mindset. I can do that. So how do I do it? All right. So don't or what do you think before I give you, Georgina? Let's hear you first.
Oh, I'm just going to confess myself right now about what you just said. And when I began using the framework, Oxinity framework, and at one point I was receiving many more hours than the amount of students I was contributing, and I had a feeling that that was not the deal. It was 1 student, 1 teaching hour, and I don't know about the rest, but me, I felt guilty. I felt guilty because I was receiving more than I was giving, and that's sort of like powered me to compensate Oxinity actually for what they were all doing, and understanding the model. It's not that difficult, but when I think about it, I have a wonderful person called Maria, and every time I have a lead, I forget about the rest. And I know that that machine is going to be producing money, and I just have to forget about everything. And for me, that's super comfortable. And it's a balance between the amount of students I can bring, of course, and the hours I could, because I like to teach. So I like to be in that situation from time to time. But that would be actually what happened to me. And yes, the Oxinity framework is an opportunity, the way I see it, for all of us to, develop and have another possibility as teachers and not be running around with our little bags around the city. It's really, really comfortable. And yes, it's based on altruism, but maybe not. Maybe I'm like completely selfish, thinking that, Kaylee's teaching my students, admin people are out there, and Mari Carmen is like managing my timetable, and Maria is managing billings and payments. But I don't know. It's very comfortable, I think. It's possible, and well, that's it.
And you should be feeling rewarded, because on top of everything else that you're doing and achieving, you're helping other people grow, which is beautiful as well.
But if you think about it, that's the business model. I don't even have to make an effort for that. It's the way it is. And I think, I don't know, the more I think about it, it's just amazing. It's just amazing. The fact that I'm making money, thanks to the fact that you are making money, it's just brilliant. Okay, maybe it's criticizable. Okay, maybe it has flaws. Okay, all right. But at least it's a little tiny weeny stepping stone to something that is different. And for me, now that I'm confessing myself, sometimes we are always sort of like, we don't like the condition of having a boss and being exploited and whatever, and, and like, okay, there's Oxinity. Hey, there you go. Go your own way. But we complain about that as well. So I don't think there's any other option. Well, I don't know. If somebody has a third option, okay, great. I think it would be cool to know it, but it's a bit more comfortable. And yes, in terms of me, I love helping people. Anybody who approaches me, as I have approached, Mark and Gergo and Sonia, they have helped me. It's true, always. But I think this is an opportunity by all means, not only sort of like professionally, but again, the community, and actually being part of a community that works, let's say. Considering we have failed as a humankind, but whatever, that's just a little detail. There we go. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, that was amazing. I really have to thank you on behalf of all the people that you've helped. Many, many, many thanks, Georgina, for that.
Well, I mean, thanks to Mark and Gergo and Sonia and a bunch of other people who always are there to help me, always. So thank them.
So thank you guys, all those that Georgina mentioned, and thank you all in general. Fine. So another thing that I wanted to to ask you here, before I forget, because this is very important, go to your profiles whenever you get the chance. Do it next week or whenever you want, and please, guys, put the languages that you can teach. Yeah, because we're going to filter very soon in the platform the languages that you can teach. It's not ready yet. I'll tell you. I will be telling you next week when you will be doing it. But the idea is that you let us know what languages you teach, and you being aware of the teachers of what languages are taught within the community. This is it. Okay, so I'm going to let you know about it. Okay, now going back to how to grow. Okay, let's talk a little bit about how to grow. So how to grow is modern trends, and from my own experience, like when we start selling is when we start screwing it. So the sales approach is the one that I would recommend the less, and the sales approach is the one that says, all these slogans of great classes and native teachers and I don't know, learn by whatever and best method and best whatever. And this is, you know, people are so fed up with these messages that they can't distinguish the real message from, or those companies that really provide that, than the ones that are using it to sell. So I yesterday sent you a message about it, and I firmly believe that content is the key. Yeah, content, good content of value in the right hands is going to transmit a big deal and can be game changing. So if we focus on the content and then we distribute that content in the channels that we have, starting with WhatsApp, but also Facebook, LinkedIn is a little bit more difficult, but also, for instance, I know that Maria has this objective in mind to get the people that she's working with, to get them to sit and talk with one company every week. Yeah, so human resources managers can be approached. And again, we have to remember the first thing when approaching companies, we're not a teacher. Yeah, we are more than that. We're a service. You guys are partners and you're providing a service. They want what you are not. Remember this. Just repeat it as a mantra. A company will want what I'm not. So I can offer them anything but me. This is it. And you will see that they will start listening. So approach companies on LinkedIn with good content. Yeah. When you approach someone with good content, then you can be anything. You can be a man, a woman, you can live in one country and in another. You can teach kids and teens and adults, and you can be everything. You know, when they focus on the content and on the message, and that's why the keyword yesterday was blogging. This is very important. Then we can very strategically direct the message to those who need the different things that we have. So those who need grammar will get grammar posts. Those who need vocabulary will have vocabulary posts. And those who need something more engaging, topic-like, will have the topic-like posts. And approach me, because I've structured the different posts into 3 main categories. Again, they pretty much follow what we have in classes, what you're used to. Topics that have to do with blogs that have to do with vocabulary and with grammar, and then with topics. And let's use that. Yeah, so if many of you have said, yeah, I want to create blogs, but not, you are capable. You will succeed. You will refine your skills by doing it. I will help you. I need just a starter so that whatever the way you start will be can be improved with every blog that you create. But it will be improved in terms of format and placing the keywords strategically. So these are things that I can help you. I myself receive help from our SEO expert, and I'm more than willing to share that with all of you. So let me know. But you need to explain whenever you communicate. You need to explain what you do, and the idea is that you sell much more than yourself, right? Much more than it. Any student that you bring on board is not just a client; is a client that come with an hour for you, right? So this is it, Mari Carmen.
I just wanted to add a little something, and that is that now that I think it's about time we leave the pandemic behind, and before we had to focus more on the web classes, and we had less tools, if you like, to sell, and those tools we had to sell because they were smaller, if you like, because of the situation. I think reversing that, at least for me, it's worked for the last clients I got, was since we have that tool, where we have that toolbox, where we have everything they need, doing it the other way around, and not selling but listening. So the last people I got was through, what do you need? And they tell you a whole story, it doesn't matter what, and I say, I have it. And somehow we will find it with the teachers, with the timing, what we've been saying. So I think it's more time now that our toolbox is full to listen to them rather than proposing to them. And then we're going to say yes to what they say because we have it all right now, not like before. Now we have it all. That's all.
Yeah.
That's how it's been working lately, at least.
Thank you for mentioning that. Actually, when we think that way, we won't be afraid of, for instance, offering classes. Say I'm a male teacher. I'm not going to be afraid of offering the hours of my female colleagues because I know that on my turn, I will receive the hours with the clients that want me. Yeah, this is very important. Very important. Georgina, you had a question?
Yeah, no. I was just to double what Mari Carmen said, exactly the same. Somebody suggested that a long time ago, like listen first. And then lately I've been working this with Maria to get higher quality leads, just up front saying, hey, I don't work alone. And that sort of gives already the idea of what they're ready for and saying, I don't work alone and I can offer this. And also, because I don't offer myself as a teacher, I offer the method. So many times I talk to people and I say, it's not about the teacher, it's about how effective the method is, especially when I need to explain that we have a teacher rotation. So, well, that's the way I work around that. And it's being effective. Listening and then just going up front saying, I can solve all your needs because I don't work alone. That's also true.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to how can you be flexible? Oh.
Yeah. And yeah, that's it. We listen to them and we're not, again, let me insist also not to be afraid because sometimes you have that pressure of what you are and it has to be you by all means, otherwise you are not going to have a gain. And I will insist on that. Two people are always engaged into this transaction. And if it doesn't have to be you, so it can be you, but if, for instance, you, Georgina, have a client and as you've explained, you've listened to them and you've heard what they say and you realize that it cannot be you, yeah, for many reasons that you are not, you pass the hour to Gergo, who has all the criteria, who meets the criteria of the client. Then Gergo is having the student, and not only you're having the margin from the class, you're also having a class if you want. So if you want it, because you're maybe on a more advanced stage, but you are going to be able to choose whether or not you want the class. For people that are in the initial stages, probably is more straightforward. Yeah, your client has wanted a male teacher, they get Gergo. Gergo gets a class, he's happy, and Georgina doesn't only get the 40%, she gets the 40% and the class, right? This is it. And this can be applied to any situation. So yeah, of course, I mean, and everything, again, that you might be requested can be executed with Oxinity. I'm referring to that because of this, sometimes I hear it and I wonder, you know, they don't want Oxinity. That doesn't mean anything, right? Okay. So once Georgina has passed a client or a student to Gergo, and Gergo later gets a client that wants a female teacher, obviously, Georgina will be the one or any other of his colleagues, right? That can deliver the class, and the same will happen with him. So what I mean is that passing students or selling or providing the hours of others is beneficial always for the person that does it in the first place. Yeah, this is the system here. Go ahead, Georgie.
Thank you. Well, now that we're talking about passing clients and students, I would just like to point out the fact of quality, because when I have a student in my class, I have another partner's client in my hands.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I better make a really good job following the Auxinity method, because it's actually what my partner explained or exposed. So I think that's the fact of having that responsibility for one another should really stimulate us to give good classes, just for the fact that, you know, if I deliver a poor class, the first thing I think, to be honest, is, wow, what did I do to my partner? And this also has to do with the community. And I think we have to keep it in mind immensely, because I want to trust everybody, and I want to make myself trustworthy as well. And that has to do with delivering quality classes. Well, you know, have the student talking, assimilating to talk, not read. Well, all these tips that you've been giving us make them effective. Yeah.
That's great. Thank you for mentioning. And in this regard, if you wonder what are the criteria that we follow for assigning classes, quality comes first. So make no mistake, quality matters very much. We take care of it. Quality is something that we understand that starts before the class, before the classroom, and people here know it very well, how much they work so that a trial class is successful, and how easy it is for a poor decision of a teacher to miss the point and to have an unhappy client, right? And I know that sometimes you have to do whatever you can with the activities that you can, but I have witnessed great examples of teachers that have done brilliant classes with pretty much 1 minute before the class we had a problem. The teacher was substituted, and the substitute teacher did a wonderful job with whatever they had at hand, and they did a great job. So this is what it takes, a little bit of those who are thoughtful and have that consideration for their partners understand that very well. Yeah, that even in not the best conditions, quality can happen. If you just remember 2-3 things that make a good class, even if the conditions are not so great, the class can be. So quality matters very much, and to us it's priority. So well, we'll talk about how to teach kids if you want, so that quality there is maximum. But eventually the teachers that prepare, they have no problem whatsoever in quality. Okay, so guys, I don't know whether you have more questions. My main concern was to explain how all these the models, the different models work, how you should use them in your benefit. But by benefiting yourself, by sharing, you're actually by sharing the time of others, you're also benefiting, a big deal. And the more you share, actually, being it blocks, being it hours, being whatever it is, the better outcome there is for you, and you're helping a new teacher to start. So these are the pointers I wanted to cover, and use content to do follow-up of your leads. Yeah, content to follow up, content of value to follow up on your leads. Great. Okay, so thank you. I really enjoyed this session, and I wish you all a great weekend. Bye, guys.